Time now for Sid Seixeiro. This is where I get 60 seconds to talk about anything. Start the clock, please. Here's what's on my mind this morning. I don't get people who don't like soccer. I don't. I mean, I understand how people don't appreciate diving or embellishing, trying to get the referee to give you a call. But last time I checked, and I do watch a lot of sports, there is diving in the National Hockey League, in football, and the NBA. Trust me. So you can just throw that excuse in the garbage. If the pace of soccer is a little slow for you, I kind of get it. But you can't like baseball and tell me that soccer is too slow a game for you. Don't start with me on that. Here's the best thing about soccer: the drama. Yesterday, Italy, England, Euro 2020 final, penalty shootout. I don't have a horse in the race, man. But I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. And whether you like shootouts or not, no one, and I mean no one, can argue that soccer is the best sport when it comes to drama. And from an entertainment standpoint, isn't that what you want? Are you not entertained? I was. Alex Seixeiro of Sportsnet 590 The Fan and 680 News, among other things, joins us to tie a bit of a bow on this tournament. I mean, we'll talk about it throughout the morning. Alex, did the best team win here? Was Italy front to back the most consistent squad, do you think?
No doubt. Absolutely. I thought they were the best team yesterday. I thought they were the best team in the entire tournament. And I truly believed that it didn't matter who they played yesterday, whether it was going to be England or Denmark. I thought they'd be the favorites. And I know they weren't, the quote unquote betting favorites. England were. But I think you saw yesterday why, Roberto Mancini's transformation of this team from 2018, when they failed to make the World Cup, to now brought in new players, changed the system. It just worked. They just had a little more, going forward than England did. And it was a tough start for Italy. I mean, you're down 1-0, 2 minutes in at Wembley Stadium. The English fans were outnumbering the Italian fans. I think it was about 5-1. But I think the Italians throughout the entire tournament had the right mentality. I think they played some of the best soccer. And ultimately, a big part of yesterday came down to the two managers. And look, I think Gareth Southgate, for most of the tournament, he was criticized for a lot, Sid, tactics, players. He was heavily criticized for a lot of things he did. I thought he got a lot right. Yesterday, he made a number of mistakes, and Roberto Mancini didn't. He made some substitutions in the second half. And when you possess the ball over 60% of the time, like the Italians did, more often than not, when you have that much quality, you're going to win. And just a stat to throw out there, Harry Kane did not touch the ball once in the Italian 18-yard box.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem.
How much defending England had to do, and the Italians took advantage.
And we're showing some shots here. I'm assuming that's Cafe Diplomatico downtown. That's obviously Little Italy downtown yesterday. It was nuts. And the party looked good, and everyone kept it above board and just had a good time, and nothing stupid happened, which is great. I don't have a lot of sympathy for England here, if I'm being perfectly honest, for a couple of reasons. One, they played the tournament at home aside from one butt-kicking of Ukraine and Rome. So I don't want to hear it from any English fan anywhere. Secondly, in the penalty shootout yesterday, to have a 19-year-old take your last penalty, and for people who don't watch a lot of soccer, the last penalty or the second last penalty, that's where your bread is kind of buttered, because that's what you're going to remember. And none of the experienced guys either wanted to take a late penalty or take a penalty at all. They let a 19-year-old kid, England, in soccer from Arsenal, take the penalty, and he missed. Now, these things happen. You make penalties, you miss penalties. I thought it was one of the craziest things I've seen in soccer in a long time, considering England's history with shootouts and tournaments, period. To let a 19-year-old kid walk up there with everything on the line, considering the experience behind him, watching like cowards from midfield, while this kid strolls up and is now being subjected to God knows what online. That was, part of me thought that was well-deserved for England. England should have went home disappointed. England should have went home with a loss. England should be drowning in whatever sorrow they got this morning, because they had most of the tournament at home. They had it on a plate for them up 1-0 early, and they still found a way to screw it up. I'm not expecting you to go down that road exactly, Alex, but that's where I'm at right now. I have no sympathy for England at all.
Well, they were too defensive, right? They were too defensive, and they still got the penalties, which is not a crapshoot. Don't let anyone tell you that it's just luck. Penalty, there's skill.
It's kind of luck, though, isn't it? It's kind of luck.
there's a lot of deception to penalties. They work on these things every day. So because I agree with you, I was really interested to hear from Gareth Southgate the process of how he goes about choosing his penalty takers. And he said it's something that they just kind of almost put a list together based on what happens in training. And look, training and being at Wembley in the final of a Euro with 80,000 people there are two different things. So I think, look, I've never been a manager, I've never been a player at that level, but when the situation and the stage is so grand, I think you have to take into account, how is when the game is done and you're about to go to penalties, how is the player feeling? Are they nervous? Do they want to, are they hurt? Like, I think there are factors that go into play. And when you have Raheem Sterling ready to take a penalty, and even though Jack Grealish doesn't take a lot of penalties, he was there. But to go to Saka, I didn't really agree with. And even Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho, they were brought on with 90 seconds.
They just came on the field, man. They just came on the field. It was madness. It was mad. Forgive me. They're wrapping me up. We can go another hour on this. Congratulations, Italy. Whatever, England. We'll talk way more of this coming up here on BT. Alex, appreciate you. You're great. Thank you.
All right. Have a good morning.
All right. What a tournament it was. Coming up, we got Frank Ferragini. We have Niagara on the Lake. We have a really nice hat. When you combine the three, you have a segment coming up here on Breakfast Television. Good morning, Toronto. It's 6:46. You're watching BT.